What's up, Tesla fans? What's up, boys and girls? This is something that Sandy Munro says. If you don't know who Sandy Munro is, go and look him up. He's a great dude. Has been in the automobile industry for over 30 years, pretty long. So go and check him out. He is great. He is very good at evaluating manufacturing, evaluating products, and he is a Tesla bull now. I think he's converted. So go and check him out if you are interested in engineering, if you're interested in technology, if you're interested in how things are done and how things should be done. So he's a very interesting dude, and this is how he starts. How's it going, boys and girls? So I thought I would imitate him this time. Anyways, it's been some time. I haven't posted a video for a very long time, so I apologize. And the reason why I haven't posted a video is because a lot of interesting things have happened. And as those things were happening, I was wondering, does it make sense to talk about it? Because there's a lot of chatter on YouTube, on Reddit. Everyone has heard about GameStop and probably even taken advantage of the GameStop mania. I hope you made some money using GameStop. If you didn't, don't worry about it. It was a lot of fun. I heard a lot about it from my brother, from his friends, from his friends' friends, from people that I know. And I've been watching from the side. I'm not a GameStop kind of a person. I was evaluating the company, and I'm pretty serious about my investments. Not saying that people who invest in GameStop are not serious, but it's not my cup of tea or whatever you want to call it. So I was not a part of it. However, I could see some underlying themes that were going around with GameStop that I think are going to have a huge impact, a lasting impact on how people trade, how people invest. So I want to talk about today. I want to talk about a lot of topics, and I couldn't even pick which topic I want to talk about. So I think in this video, I want to talk about Q1 of 2021, a new year, right? So, how is this year better or different than 2020? 2020 was the year of the pandemic. Everyone will remember it. I call it the infamous year. I even, from all my, um, from all my travels in 2020, all the pictures that I accumulated, I put them into an album, and I named the album the Infamous 2020. So it's a year that everyone will remember for a very long time. We'll talk to our kids about it. So I wanted to talk in this video about 2021, and especially quarter 1 of 2021. And as most of you know, my channel is very focused and very impressed as well, I would say, by Tesla. So of course I'll talk about Tesla. I'll also talk about investing. I'll talk about my own perspective on where the market is going, from all the chatter I hear from people who follow the news these days have must have heard about the economy improving, the U.S. printing another $2 trillion or something, and maybe printing more. Bitcoin, so cryptocurrency, Tesla, of course, the Suez Canal and the ship getting stuck in the Suez Canal. Countries, including India, I was really disappointed by that, banning cryptocurrency, and the next revolution in money and crypto, and money being I think the greatest invention of all time for human beings. And some countries, including India, my own country, that I'm from India, banning cryptocurrency, that was kind of disappointing and really saddening for me from a personal standpoint. Anyways, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about my own journey, my own investing journey, my own trading journey, my Tesla journey, my exploration with technology. What are the new things that I found, and I found were interesting that I should share with you. So a lot of different topics, and I'm gonna keep jumping around this video, and I don't really have a great script for this video, and I'm not a big believer in scripts actually. I'm more of a impromptu kind of a person. I have some thoughts floating around my head, and I want to treat this video like a kind of like a podcast in real time, with impromptu ideas floating in my head, and as they come through me, as they come as they come to me, I want to talk about them. So starting with Tesla, I think Q1 has been pretty muted, generally speaking. For and I noticed that I use this word generally speaking quite a bit. So I'll try to limit the usage of this phrase, not the word, the phrase itself. But I say that because I'm always trying to uh, kind of quote the information I provide, generalizing it as much as I can, because I think that's the most relatable way of understanding what someone is saying. And that's why I use that. I mean, and I'll probably try to find alternatives for it. Having said that, Tesla has been in the news. I mean, has always been in the news. Q1 especially in the news because it did pretty well for the first couple of months, and then kind of tanked. It tanked with the broader market. Everyone's heard about the yields rising pretty quickly, and kind of spooking the market, and people thinking inflation is going to rise too quickly, and how's the Fed gonna keep the control over the interest rate, even though Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, I can't even remember how many times he appeared in front of the public in public setting and said that he's going to maintain the monetary policy for the next 3 years, so 2021, 2022, and 2023. And not just him, the entire Federal Reserve Committee, committee of all the Federal Reserve governors all across the US, even reiterated that point. And for whatever reason, the market doesn't want to believe it. And I'm a part of the market, and I don't personally believe it myself. So I don't blame the market for it. I just feel like there's no logical way I can see the Federal Reserve, with the monetary policy that they have, being able to control the interest rate as much as they think that they would like to, or as much as they think that they can, and as much as they would like to. And the simple reason being that there's too much money that's floating around in the economy right now. Not just the U.S. economy, I think it's the world economy, but especially the U.S. economy. There's too much money that's been floating around. So when that much money chases maybe the same amount of goods, because GDP hasn't grown that much, and will grow, as we go forward and the economy opens up, the GDP will grow, but it hasn't grown yet, and it's not going to grow at the same rate as the money printing that has happened. It is but obvious that inflation will catch up sooner than later. I think the Federal Reserve's and Mr. Jerome Powell's hope is that it would catch up, even though it will catch up in the short term, and we will see some high inflation in the short term. It's not going to last, and it is anyone's guess right now if it's going to last or not. And then it also depends how you measure inflation. For me personally, I measure inflation by things that I want to buy. If the things that I want to buy are getting expensive, then there's inflation. If the things that I want to buy are not getting expensive, there's no inflation. But there are different ways of measuring it. There's a basket of goods that people wanna track and measure it by. I don't have a problem with it, but I personally measure it like if things that I want to buy, if I want to buy land, if I want to buy property, stocks, cryptocurrency, whatever. If I want to buy that thing and it's getting expensive, there's inflation. Because or those assets, you can call them deflationary, as their value is increasing over time, because more money is chasing the same amount of those assets. So it is anyone's guess where inflation is going, but the markets have clearly been spooked by it. We can clearly see that in the government bonds market, as the yields, as a lot of viewers of the channel might know, and if you've been monitoring, the 10-year Treasury, U.S. Treasury yields have been on an uptick this week. They've been pretty muted, but up until last week, they were on an uptick, and they rose quite ferociously over the last month or 2 months. So half of February, entirety of March, and then so far in April, we're doing better. But about 2 months, I think the yields have been rising pretty darn quickly as compared to expectations, and that kind of spooked the market. And the simple way to think about this is like as yields increase, the value of cash flows that a growth company is going to generate, the value decreases because those cash flows are further out. Think about a growth company, right? It's not. Think about Apple, or I mean, Apple is probably not as big a growth company. Even think about Tesla. Tesla's valuation is fully based on future cash flows. A lot of them are based on very high profitability in the future. And as interest rates increase, the value of those cash flows, because interest rate is in the denominator for a discount cash flow model, the interest rate is increasing, meaning the value of those future cash flows that don't happen right now, will happen a few years from now, or maybe 10 years from now, whatever, the value of those cash flows are decreasing. So when that happens, the valuation of the company or the stock in this case is going to decrease. So that's what's happened in the technology sector. Last couple of months, last couple of weeks, it has picked back up, and the gains have been kind of spread out, and it's been a mixed bag for me personally. But I think we're going to continue to see that. As the markets continue to be spooked, we're going to see that growth companies are going to be impacted by this. So if you're a growth investor, just watch out for that, as it's going to continue to happen. Having said that, if you're a long-term investor, as I've said in my videos previously, everyone should be a long-term investor. If you're not, then you should think about your investing as your methodology. But if you're a long-term investor, there's nothing to worry about. I mean, innovation across the board has been tremendous, and it's only going to get better. And things are. I just watched a video from by Kathy Woods. If you don't know her, go and subscribe to her channel. She's the CEO of ARK Invest. She's probably the biggest ultra Tesla bull, maybe not the ultra, but like a super Tesla bull, and has been for a very long time. People were calling her crazy when she said about 2 years ago that Tesla stock pre-split will reach $4,000, which is post-split $800. And it did reach $800, 2 months ago. So she was pretty darn right on that, and she came out with her new price point for Tesla at about $3,000 post-split now, which is about 5 times, or about 4.5 times, or something like that, from here on. And she has a pretty good way of thinking about macroeconomy, microeconomy, and then innovation. So if you don't follow her already, I highly recommend go and follow her. And if you have some money lying around, and if you don't want to risk it too much, but you like innovation and you like technology, you can go and invest into one of her funds. I think the flagship fund that she runs is called ARKK, or ARK Innovation Fund. You can go and research it. I think they're pretty transparent, and I'm pretty impressed by her methodology, which is every day she publishes her trades, which it's kind of an unheard of in the ETF or exchange traded fund world. So what Kathy is up to, and in recent history, it also moves markets, especially for growth companies. So go and follow her if you don't already. She's a big Tesla bull, like I am, and she has some really good ideas on why she thinks where Tesla will be in 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And I completely agree with. I mostly agree with her. I shouldn't say completely agree with her, but I mostly agree with her thought process, and I have my own ideas on where Tesla will go. Having said that, there are other companies in the world as well. So I think the broader theme for investing for this decade is going to be EVs. That's pretty clear. The entire transportation sector is getting upended right now, and this is a long time coming. I had been praying for this for about 10 years now. I think way back in 2010, I've been praying for EVs becoming mainstream, and there have been ups and downs, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm a Tesla investor, because Tesla was one of the only few companies. Nissan is another one, but that's legacy of automaker. Tesla is one of those the only EV company that kind of inspired me, and my future optimism about EVs, and the vision behind Tesla wasn't about just going green. It was about being cool. It was about being fun. It was about being just changing the perception of electric vehicles as it used to be before, where people would call them golf carts, and like, yeah, you're gonna buy a golf cart, and like in a demeaning way. So Tesla changed that narrative, and did that pretty well, and by sheer conviction, by sheer determination of one person, and that's Elon Musk. Talking about Elon Musk, There is a new book on Audible, and if you're I'm not into reading books. I like listening to books, and more recently, I've got into Audible. So if you are not on Audible, and if you have the same problem as I do, which is reading books, I highly recommend subscribing to Audible.com. I think it is a subsidiary of Amazon.com. So Jeff Bezos has his hands in everything. But I think this is a really good idea. If you're not in reading books, if you're in listening books, subscribe to audible.com, coming back to the point. And as I said, I'll keep jumping around this video because so many things to talk about and I want to cover so many things. But the most recent book that has come out on Elon Musk is called Liftoff. And I was highly inspired by this book. And the name of the author is Eric Berger. He's been a long time NASA journalist, talking about space for a very long time, maybe more than 20 years, 25 years or something like that. And he takes you on this journey or historical journey of what SpaceX used to be in its early days, especially from when it was founded by Elon Musk, to its first successful orbital flight and what all happened in between, which was a pretty crazy and dramatic journey. You would learn about Elon's managing style, you learn about the sheer grit that this guy has, and I was very, very impressed. Very inspiring as well. So I highly recommend listening to that audiobook or reading if you can get your hands on it. If you like reading the book is called Liftoff by Eric Berger. So with that said, I was talking about innovation and Elon Musk and Kathy Woods. So the next frontier, and there are like 4 or 5 of these themes that you should follow, I think, for the next decade from an innovation standpoint and investment standpoint, because these two things go together. This decade is going to be the decade of innovation. Not saying that the last decade wasn't the decade of innovation, but the pace at which this is going to happen, it's going to blow people's mind. And my mind is already blown, because I'm from the internet generation, born in 1985, and I kind of lived the changes in what was available and the technology that was available in the early 2000s all the way to now. So I'm a witness, I'm a bear witness, and people in my generation are bear witness to the innovation that we have seen. But and we my mind is already blown with what I have seen in my lifespan. But I can be more excited about what we are going to see in this decade. And this is going to be propelled by artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, things going, with artificial intelligence and electric vehicles, things kind of going into the cloud with people talking a lot about the advances with the aid of artificial intelligence in biotechnology, DNA sequencing. So these, and then I think the biggest innovation for a very long time is currency. So cryptocurrency being, I think, the fourth one, the 4th pillars of this decade, and I think the 5th is energy storage. So energy, transportation, artificial intelligence, currency, and biotechnology. Those are the five themes for this decade. If you are an investor, a long term, again, reiterating my point, you're only an investor if you invest in long term. Pick any one of these 5 themes: EVs, energy storage, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, or cryptocurrency. Pick any of these 5. Actually, pick all 5 if you can, but pick in these 5 themes, and you will not regret this. These are the 5 innovation platforms that are taking off right now and are going to be trillions of dollars of opportunity that's just lying in front of us. And I know the market can be brutal, and it has been brutal in this quarter, and I bear witness to the brutality of the market. Uh, but I am unfazed, and I hope that you are too, because these five platforms for innovation are going to blow it out of the ballpark. So, and I can also name companies that you can go and follow in all five of these areas. Tesla is going to cover two of them, or maybe three of them. Actually, three of them. So transportation, and that's why Tesla is my biggest biggest investment in my portfolio, because if something covers three out of the five key drivers of growth in the next decade, how can you not be in it? Transportation, artificial intelligence, and energy storage. And Tesla covers all three. The only thing that it's not, I mean, actually, cryptocurrency, Elon has got into cryptocurrency too. So, partially into cryptocurrency. The only thing that they do not cover is biotechnology. Um, but actually, Elon is kind of making up for that as well through, it's not biotechnology, but it's trying to merge the human brain with artificial intelligence with a company called Neuralink. That's a completely different topic, and we'll talk about it separately. But if there's a company out there that covers three out of the five biggest drivers of innovation in this decade, that is Tesla. And you will remember this, I will bring this video back again. I'm saying this in April of 2021, and we will probably talk about this in 2025 and then 2030. And this will be the video that I'll refer back to, like I said so, and not just I mean I don't want to be, I'm not a dick. I'm not saying because I said so. Like, you should, if you can see this, then I I don't know what to tell you really. If you can see this happening right now, it's not like I'm some sort of wizard who just has a crystal ball and can predict the future. This is happening around us right now, and if you cannot see this, then I highly recommend. There's a lot of material out there. You can go and read. You can go and explore yourself. But think for yourself. This is not. I'm not trying to give investment advice. This is purely for entertainment purposes. That was a disclaimer. But think for yourself. How why if you regardless of whatever industry, whatever part of life, whatever stage of life you are in, if you're not being affected by any of these five things, you're probably living in the Stone Age. I don't even have words if you're one of those people. But if you're being affected by any of these five things, just think about how it's affecting your life. And you will have the answer yourself. You won't have to listen to a jerk like me. So, so think for yourself. And I think that these are the five drivers of innovation in this decade. And these are the things that will change the world. So invest, enjoy, have fun, follow, research, and think for yourself. And most important of all, stay safe. Did you get a COVID vaccine? If you haven't, go and get your COVID vaccine, because I got one. I got mine the first shot today. So go and get it. It's good for you. Until next time, stay safe. Bye.